I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. I think when I get here earlier, it's actually harder because I don't know what end is up most of the time. Let's see. I'm going to put some background. I've got some neighbors today in the adjoining office that aren't usually there, and here they are. So today I want to talk about Cyber Monday, but before we start, pasture-raised eggs. Have you heard of those? I hadn't. I didn't know. I mean, I figured that, the chicken farms, when you go down in Indiana and you go by those chicken farms, man, those are smelly deals. I can see. They say people don't go in there because it's so caustic to your eyes. Anyway, so there's cage-raised chickens, which are crammed into a little 67 square inches. Well, let's see. 12 by 12 would be 144 inches. So this is like half of that. Okay, so that's like 10 by 5. No, it's like 6 by 10 or something. Anyway, not a lot of room. And they just put out eggs, and that's the way it is. And if you're a chicken, you may not want to live that way. But some retailers have been promising to go toward the cageless, which just run around in a barn. That isn't much better. Or go to pasture-raised eggs. And Iowa just passed a law saying if you're going to sell the expensive ones, you got to sell the cheap ones too. What I want to say here is capitalism is an amazing thing. And the reason I say that is because 10 years ago, nobody cared about the chickens. Whether they should or shouldn't, I don't know. I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of washed eggs. In third world countries, you can buy an egg and it'll keep for 3 months because they don't wash them. But there was some kind of salmonella outbreak years back, and they decided they had to wash all the eggs. In Wisconsin, they made it illegal to sell unpasteurized milk, raw milk. But people who live on farms have lived on it for, all of human history. And they find out when you go into third world countries and you vaccinate everybody that they get their immune system and their allergies go up. I don't know the answer. I'm not advocating for anything here. All I'm saying is it's an amazing world where capitalism, rather than just the government saying you have to do this with your eggs, comes up with alternatives. They're saying here in this article that in the future, cage-free will be the standard minimum, improved working conditions for chickens, and that the pasture-raised are going to get less and less expensive as people go that direction. So the beauty of capitalism is that the market dictates these things, dictates better conditions for chickens, and there you go. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Okay, so now on to Cyber Monday. Amazon had its biggest day ever on Cyber Monday, and the stats I got over here from Adobe Analytics says almost $8 billion in sales, which sounds like a lot to me. I don't really know. I do know that I tried to buy turtlenecks on Land's End, and I got the wrong sizes. I tried to buy a black all the way zip down, and I only got a quarter zip. You cannot see the zipper. People, especially you e-commerce people, put size reference in your photography. Open the zipper. You zip up a black zipper jacket, and you can't see whether it's quarter zip or full zip or no zip. God Lord, can't you even shoot a product? It's gotten so dirt cheap to shoot products, no one cares anymore, and no one shoots a decent product. Okay, so we had a big Cyber Monday, and I was going to tell you about the stock market and how then Amazon stock got hammered. I'm not quite sure why. Foot traffic was down in some malls, but part of the reason, as I said yesterday, is that, you can get the stuff in 5 seconds. Now, so who has to worry about Cyber Monday? We'll order it the day before Christmas, and it'll be here FedEx. That's not true. Anyway, and so then I tried another one of my clients, and I don't know what happened. I've tried 3 times to place an order. I come back, I stay online, my shopping cart gets emptied with no remorse. Then I hit the back button a couple times, and there's the shopping cart again. Then I pay, put in the thing, say I'm going to do PayPal. I don't get any notification. I don't know why it didn't go through. Nobody says, hey, it didn't work. You're trying, but you're not doing it. Call us or something. So that order got blown away. This morning I log in, can't find it. My Cyber Monday coupon's no good. So I cut half the items out of the order. Try to place a test order with yourself. See if you can do it. And if you can't do it, you might want to work on your order processing before your marketing. Because if I come to your site and I can't place an order, guess what? You don't get an order. And it's really frustrating because I have now a lot of things that I needed that I didn't get. But I did get the world's greatest nose hair trimmer, and I ordered a little desktop Christmas tree, which you'll see behind me shortly. See how long it takes to come. Okay, all of those things aside, here was an interesting one. IBM chief Ginny Rometty calls for greater regulation of consumer tech giants. Now, I think this is really interesting because, of course, how the heck do you regulate this? There was a story in the news, not a marketing story, but a professor of gender stuff, don't know, something about women. She's a women's studies professor or something like that. Said she doesn't think it's fair that men who say I identify with women can go and race them in the Olympics. I don't think it's fair either. Gee whiz, if we just raced men and women together against each other, the women wouldn't win. No, I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying that's why we have a women's category. Let the women race women, let the men race men. It seems entirely fair. Okay, but if you identify, there were 2 track athletes from the UK last Olympics that were men, and they identified as women, and they let them race. It's nutty. Anyway, so she said, this seems nutty, and Twitter banned her. And then she said, it seems nutty that Twitter's banning me since I'm like a women's rights advocate. And then they permanently banned her. So this is not an easy deal. How do you regulate, and IBM has such a huge vested interest in this, right? Because they're getting eclipsed by Google Ad Services and Google Cloud and Google Business Office Suite stuff. They're getting hammered because Google has it all. And so, of course, they come out and say this. Apple says it too, because Apple doesn't have a news venue like Google. So Apple and IBM are saying no fair that these tech giants aren't regulated. But I don't know how you're going to regulate them because, they're loopy. They're eating their own children in banning people, and if they don't ban people, then other people get mad. Reddit tried never to edit, and then they decided they would edit something. Well, once you start editing, then you're responsible to edit the stuff that's really bad. I'm sure there's bad stuff. I don't go on Reddit. I got enough news sources. But how do you do it? It's not so easy. On a lighter note, why isn't your marketing working? An excellent article by Michael Sheen. Excellent article. Because basically he says, all of this is, you got to have Snapchat. You got to have blogging. He went and did a speech, and he said, how many are blogging? They all raise their hand. This is what I say every week. This is a great, great article. And then he said, all of you have started a blog. How many made a penny for yourselves or your company because of your efforts? Now, I have to say, I got a $140,000 client off one of my YouTube videos. Now, maybe some of you have done a lot better than that, but it seemed like a good thing. I don't know how much I get, if anything. I don't push what I do. Probably most of you don't even know what I do. But I think this forces me to be current on a lot of marketing news, and so it gets me to the office, gets me to have a good cup of coffee. Anyway, the point is that everyone in marketing dives into the next thing. Marketing information, Snapchat, Instagram, all of that stuff. And what he says is, what do you do instead? This is what you do. What you do instead is you sell something. You should be selling something. I didn't highlight this one. But all you have to do is start figuring out what the market wants and start giving it to them. And that's the key. And that's why I'm here today. So if you'd like a topic that you're going to want touched on, then by all means, write. I'm John Miglosh. Like and share. Have a great day.